Until and unless you discover that money is the root of all good, you ask for your own destruction. Oh, what you're doing is so horrible. Money is so evil. Especially us, I think, are in our lifetimes confronted with people who throw sentences like these at our heads. To me, it's especially infuriating. Just don't engage with them. Never apologize for making money. One of the greatest tools on which our civilization is built upon is without a question money. And everyone who wants to go into business needs to know this. Without a question, money is important for everyone, but especially if you want to go into the business world, the knowledge how to handle money, which is finance, is one of the most important tools you can learn to use. Ayn Rand, who is an American philosopher who emigrated to America during the 20th century from Soviet Russia, is one of the most important philosophers you can read if you want to go into business. Her works inspired Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Peter Thiel,
Edward Snowden,
or even if you want a fictional character, Ted Lasso from Apple TV's Ted Lasso. And today I'm going to read you a part from Ayn Rand's book Atlas Shrugged, in which she describes how important money is to our society, why we need money, why the sentence, money is the root of all evil, which I think all of us heard so many times, and especially, and to me it's especially infuriating because I love money. For me, money is the only way in which we can order society with the least amount of violence possible, and possibly even without any violence. Money is the means in which we can order the production of values without the use of violence, and only by means of voluntary action. Furthermore, money establishes markets which basically are based upon rationality, and they can sort out the best
use of your resources and your time,
which is impossible to do without them. It has been tried, but it's impossible to know all of the information from every industry, from every person in the country, to know about all of their desires and all the information needed to fulfill them simultaneously. It has been tried a lot of time, but it didn't work. If you want to know more about this topic, why only markets can calculate prices and why this is important, you can Google about the calculation debate, which has been held by lots of prominent economists. The Austrian economist Ludwig von Mises, he brought the calculation debate first up because he found out that a truly communist, a truly socialist country without any market is basically bound to destabilize civilization as we know it, because a good distribution of resources would be impossible. You would definitely run into shortages, and basically everyone would end up poor. Today we're going to focus on Ayn Rand's book, Atlas Shrugged, and we're going to read the speech by one of the main characters. He's called Francisco d'Anconia, and he's holding the speech at a dinner party where there are all of those wealthy elite types, politicians, philosophers, crooked big businessmen, and all of them basically, they said how money is the root of all evil, a world without money would be much better. And the only one who dares to say what's right and what's true is Francisco d'Anconia, and he's also the only one who dares to defend the virtues of money. So you think that money is the root of all evil, said Francisco d'Anconia. Have you ever asked what is the root of money? Money is a tool of exchange which can't exist unless there are goods produced and men able to produce them. Money is the material shape of the principle that men who wish to deal with one another must deal by trade and give value for value. Money is not the tool of the moochers who claim your product by tears, or of the looters who take it from you by force. Money is made possible only by the men who produce. Is this what you consider evil? When you accept money in payment for your effort, you do so only on the conviction that you will exchange it for the product of the effort of others. It is not the moochers or the looters who give value to money. Not an ocean of tears, nor all the guns in the world can transform those pieces of paper in your wallet into the bread you will need to survive tomorrow. Those pieces of paper, which should have been gold, are a token of honor, your claim upon the energy of the man who produce. Your wallet is your statement of hope, that somewhere in the world around you there are men who will not default on that moral principle which is the root of money. Is this what you consider evil? Have you ever looked for the root of production? Take a look at an electric generator and dare tell yourself that it was created by the muscular effort of unthinking brutes. Try to grow a seed of wheat without the knowledge left to you by men who had to discover it for the first time. Try to obtain your food by means of nothing but physical motions. And you learn that man's mind is the root of all the goods produced and of all the wealth that has ever existed on earth. But you say that money is made by the strong at the expense of the weak. What strength do you mean? It is not the strength of guns or muscles. Wealth is the product of man's capacity to think. Then is money made by the man who invents a motor at the expense of those who did not invent it? Is money made by the intelligent at the expense of the fools? By the able at the expense of the incompetent? By the ambitious at the expense of the lazy? Money is made before it can be looted or mooched, made by the effort of every honest man, each to the extent of his ability. An honest man is one who knows that he can consume more than he has produced. To trade by means of money is the code of the man of goodwill. Money rests on the axiom that every man is the owner of his mind and his effort. Money allows no power to prescribe the value of your effort, except the voluntary choice of the man who is willing to trade you his effort in return. Money permits you to obtain for your goods and your labor that which they are worth to the man who buy them, but no more. Money permits no deals, except those to mutual benefit by the unforced judgment of the traders. Money demands of you the recognition that men must work for their own benefit, not for their own injury, for their gain, not their loss. The recognition that they are not beasts of burden, born to carry the weight of your misery, that you must offer them values, not wounds, that the common good bond among men is not the exchange of suffering, but the exchange of goods. Money demands that you sell, not your weakness to man's stupidity, but your talent to the reason. It demands that you buy not the shoddiest they offer, but the best that your money can find. And when men live by trade, with reason, not force, as their final arbiter, it is the best product that wins, the best performance, the man of best judgment and highest ability. And the degree of a man's productiveness is the degree of his reward. This is the code of existence, whose tool and symbol is money. Is this what you consider evil? But money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. It will give you the means for the satisfaction of your desires, but it will not provide you with the desires. Money is the scourge of the man who attempt to reverse the law of causality, the men who seek to replace the mind by seizing the products of the mind. Money will not purchase happiness for the man who has no concept of what he wants. Money will not give him a code of values if he's evaded the knowledge of what to value, and it will not provide him with a purpose if he's evaded the choice of what to seek. Money will not buy intelligence for the fool, or admiration for the coward, or respect for the incompetent. The man who attempts to purchase the brains of his superiors to serve him with his money, replacing his judgment, ends up by becoming the victim of his inferiors. The man of intelligence desert him, but the cheats and the frauds come flocking to him, drawn by a law which he has not discovered, that no man may be smaller than his money. Is this the reason why you call it evil? Only the man who does not need it is fit to inherit wealth. The man who would make his own fortune no matter where he started. If an heir is equal to his money, it serves him. If not, it destroys him. But you look on and you cry that money corrupted him. Did it? Or did he corrupt his money? Do not envy a worthless heir. His wealth is not yours and you would have done no better with it. Money is a living power that dies without its root. Money will not serve the mind that cannot match it. Is this the reason why you call it evil? Money is your means of survival. The verdict you pronounce upon the source of your livelihood is the verdict you pronounce upon your life. If the source is corrupt, you have damned your own existence. Did you get your money by fraud? By pandering to men's vices or men's stupidity? By catering to fools in the hope of getting more than your ability deserves? By lowering your standards? By doing work you despise for purchases you scorn? If so, then your money will not give you a moment's or a penny's worth of joy. Then all the things you buy will become not a tribute to you, but a reproach, not an achievement, but a reminder of shame. Then you'll scream that money is evil. Evil because it would not pinch hit for your self-respect. Evil because it would not let you enjoy your depravity. Is this the root of your hatred of money? Money will always remain an effect and refuse to replace you as the cause. Money is the product of virtue, but it will not give you virtue and it will not redeem your vices. Money will not give you the unearned, neither in matter nor in spirit. Is this the root of your hatred of money? Or did you say it's the love of money that's the root of all evil? To love a thing is to know and to love its nature. To love money is to know and love the fact that money is the creation of the best power within you and your passkey to trade your effort for the effort of the best among men. It's the person who would sell his soul for a nickel, who is loudest in proclaiming his hatred of money. And he has good reasons to hate it. The lovers of money are willing to work for it. They know they are able to deserve it. Let me give you a tip on a clue to man's characters. The man who damns money has obtained it dishonorably. The man who respects it has earned it. Run for your life from any man who tells you that money is evil. That sentence is the leper spell of an approaching looter. So long as men live together on earth and need means to deal with one another, their only substitute, if they abandon money, is the muzzle of a gun. But money demands of you the highest virtues if you wish to make it or to keep it. Men who have no courage, pride or self-esteem, men who have no moral sense of their right to their money and are not willing to defend it as they defend their life, men who apologize for being rich, will not remain rich for long. They are the natural bait for the swarms of looters that stay under rocks for centuries, but come crawling out at the first smell of a man who begs to be forgiven for the guilt of owning wealth. They will hasten to relieve him of the guilt and of his life as he deserves. Then you will see the rise of the man of the double standard, the man who lived by force, yet count on those who live by trade to create the value of their looted money, the men who are the hitchhikers of virtue. In a moral society, these are the criminals, and the statutes are written to protect you against them. But when a society establishes criminals by right and looters by law, men who use force to seize the wealth of disarmed victims, then money becomes its creator's avenger. Such looters believe it's safe to rob the defenseless man once they pass the law to disarm them. But their loot becomes the magnet for other looters who get it from them as they got it. Then the race goes not to the ablest at production, but to those most ruthless at brutality. When force is the standard, the murderer wins over the pickpocket, and then that society vanishes in a spread of ruins and slaughter. Do you wish to know whether that day is coming? Watch money. Money is the barometer of a society's virtue. When you see that trading is done not by consent but by compulsion, when you see that in order to produce you need to obtain permission from men who produce nothing, when you see that money is flowing to those who deal not in goods but in favors, when you see that men got richer by graft and by pull than by work, and your laws don't protect you against them but protect them against you, when you see corruption being rewarded and honesty becoming a self-sacrifice, you may know that your society is doomed. Money is so noble a medium that it does not compete with guns and it does not make terms with brutality. It will not permit a country to survive as half property, half loot. Whenever destroyers appear among men, they start by destroying money. For money is man's protection and the base of a moral existence. Until and unless you discover that money is the root of all good, you ask for your own destruction. When money ceases to be the tool by which men deal with one another, then men become the tools of man. Blood, whips and guns, or dollars. Take your choice. There is no other, and your time is running out. I think it's so important that you appreciate money if you want to go into business, because just think about it. How can you earn something you dislike? I mean, sure, you can put up with it for, I don't know, say half a year or something, but the farther you go, the harder it becomes. And how can you achieve the dream of being rich with the thing constantly in mind, with your brain constantly reminding you, oh, what you're doing is so horrible, money is so evil. You just can't put yourself through it. So if you want to go into the business world, if you want to make it in business, you really need to understand what Ayn Rand thinks about money. You really need to understand what I've read for you today. Then you will have no problem in the business world. You will join the ranks of other people who have been inspired by Ayn Rand, such as Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Peter Thiel,
Edward Snowden,
or even if you want a fictional character, Ted Lasso from Apple TV's Ted Lasso. As Ayn Rand rightly says, money is the fundament of a peaceful civilization. Because think about it, how else can we distribute resources in a non-violent manner? Because, for example, if we're in a society that doesn't trade with money, that doesn't have markets, and there's a dispute how resources should be distributed, and none of either side agrees, then the only means in which one side can win in the end is either if one side lets the other win and just completely gives up and just lets themselves be overridden every time, or by the means of violence. Without money, you can only be oppressed or in need to use violence. And I don't think it's a good thing to go back to. I don't want to live in a world where people are fighting constantly, are being oppressed all the time. I don't want that. I think it's an impediment not only to everyone who goes into business, but especially to us who are in the business world, to spread that knowledge, because especially us, I think, are in our lifetimes confronted with people who throw sentences like these at our heads and try to make us feel bad about ourselves. And most of all, also, I want to give this with you, especially if you have been convinced by me in this video. Don't expect everyone who says that really to have bad intentions. Most of the people just don't know about it, that what the purpose of money in a society is. Most of the people don't know that money is the driver of peace in a society. And so if you are confronted with such people, do one or two things. Like, best case, try to explain to them in a respectful manner why they are wrong. And second best case, just don't engage with them, because if you know you're right and you're good, why even give them attention? Worst case is generally if you're behaving in a aggressive manner to them, in a malevolent manner, in a belligerent manner, in an arrogant manner. I wouldn't recommend the last one, because I think if you really stoop down to that level, you can convince nobody of your position. I think it's generally bad advice. I think if you want to convince someone, really talk to them on the same level, on the same grounds. If not, it's also not a problem, but then just don't engage. Like, either just engage on the eye level, or just don't engage at all. Being angry, throwing stuff back at them, then you're not better than them, I think. I think if you behave in such a manner, if you stoop down to that level, you are on that level. So I wouldn't recommend that. So don't forget, money is the root of all good. Love money, and then you will make money, and you will do good for society, and most importantly, for yourself. Never apologize for making money.